This is R.D. Sharma solution, class 12, chapter 19. Exercises 19.12, indefinite integrals we are talking about. So we have seen sine raised 5x, cos to the power 5x. Now this question is sine to the power 7x. And since the power is odd, we can separate the even and odd out. That means one of the sin x we can separate out. Others we can transform into cos. That is, we can write it as sine raised 6x into sin x. Sine raised 6x, as this integration will be sin x dx in the last. So we need to get this sin x dx first. For that, we will put this t equals to cos x. So this dt by dx will become, cos x will be minus sin x. This will be negative dt equals to sin x dx. This sin x we have got as negative dt. What does it mean? We have to convert sine raised 6x or sin x into cos so that we can use this t. Sin square x is 1 minus cos square x because sin square x plus cos square x is equal to 1. So when we write this sin square x equals to 1 minus cos square x, if we take 3 power, it will be sin raised 6x. So we have to write 1 minus cos square x as 1 minus cos square x to the power 3 in order to make it as sin raised 6x. Sin x dx is already there, and when we differentiate this t equals to cos x, we will get what? Negative dt equal to sin x dx. So let's take t equals to cos x now. 1 minus t square to the power cube. This sin x dx will be negative dt. So just write this dt, negative you can take it outside. So 1 minus t square to the power cube. So we have already discussed the a minus b whole cube formula, and a plus b whole cube also is going to be becoming in a short while. So this 1 minus t square whole cube will be 1 minus t raised 6 minus 3t square plus 3t raised to the power 4. So I'm just expanding a minus b whole cube, where a is equal to 1 and b is equal to t square in this particular case. Since it is negative, let's change this sign and then integrate it so that we can get the final answer. So first is t raised 6, because negative t raised 6, negative will be multiplied and it will be positive. Minus 3t square will be plus 3t square. 3 we can take it outside, integrating t square. Then other two are plus, so they will form a negative. So this will be plus 3. Oh, it will be negative, sorry. Negative multiplication is done. So it will be negative 3 integration of t raised 4 minus integration of dt. T raised 6, x raised to the power n integration will perform here. So t raised 7 by 7 plus 3 into t raised 3 by 3 minus 3 t raised 5 by 5, and this will be t only, minus t, plus constant of integration. Now t raised 7, what was t? We imagined it to be cos x, or we assumed it to be cos x. So now cos raised 7 by 7, 3 gets cancelled, so you can just have this t cube, which is cos cube t, minus 3 by 5, t raised 5 will be what? It will be cos x. So cos x to the power 5 or cos raised 5x. And this will be minus cos x because it's just t plus constant of integration. This whole is the final answer. So this is the way you are going to go about it, right in the way which is being prescribed by this reference given to you. Sine cube x cos to the power 5x. Now you have this 3 power and 5 power. Now you know what to do because the power is odd. So you can take cos x equals to t or sin x equals to t, transform the other term accordingly. This sine cube x can be written as sin square x and into sin x, which is sin x we are taking it with the dx term. Cos raised 5x can also be taken as, cos raised 4x into cos x, but we are just sticking to one of the solution. There can be multiple solution for this question. So this cos 5x, we will keep it like this. Sin square x into sin x will give you sin cube x. So when we integrate this will be dx. Sin x dx will be what? So t will be equal to cos x. When we differentiate this, dt by dx, cos x will be negative sin x. We are differentiating it, mind it. So minus dt will be equal to sin x dx. Sin x dx is already with us. This will be negative dt. Cos x equals to t. So what are you going to do here? Sin square x. That is, sin square x is 1 minus cos square x. So 1 minus cos square x you can write. Cos 5x will be, this cos 5x will remain like that because we are going to write it as t raised 5. Sin x dx will be negative dt. Now let's replace cos x by t wherever we have and sin x dx as negative dt wherever we have. Negative outside, dt for sin x dx. 1 minus cos square x will be 1 minus t square. cos raised 5x will be t raised 5. Now let us multiply this inside 1 minus t square multiplied by t raised 5, and then we will integrate it. But before that, there is a negative. Let's multiply the negative sign with 1 minus t square, so you'll get t square minus 1. T raised 5 is already there, so t square minus 1 into t raised 5 will be, the power gets added for t square and t5, so it will be t raised 7, and t5 into 1 will be t raised 5. So let's integrate it now them separately, t raised 7 and then t raised 5. So t raised 7 will be t raised 7 plus 1 divided by 7 plus 1, so t raised 8 by 8. T raised 5 will be t raised 5 plus 1 by 5 plus 1, so t raised 6 by 6, plus constant of integration. T is cos x in this term, so it will be cos x, that is 8th power by 8, minus this t will be cos x to the power 6 by 6, plus constant of integration. This is your final answer. So this is the reference. So this is the way you are going to write it. Let now all these has to be written properly. Every time you have to write this integration and dx wherever it is required. 1 by sine raised 4x by cos square x. Now we can take this sine raised 4x upstairs or to the numerator. That will go cos raised 4x, cos square x will be sec square x. So this is not going to give you anything because cosec square x and sec square x has no relationship. Cosec square x has a relationship with cot and sec has a relation with tan. So that is you can say a natural way of representing them and solving it. So how are we going to go about it? What is the logic you are going to put it here? So we will divide it by the highest term which you get. So what we'll do, 1 by sine square x is there, and this sine raised 4x, we are going to divide the numerator and denominator by certain term. It can be sine raised sine square x, it can be sine 4x. And what are you going to get about it? See, when it gets cancelled, this 4 and 2, sine raised 4 by sine square, it will get cancelled and sine square x will remain and cos square x is there. So this will make this sine square x in the numerator go up and it will form cosec square x. This will be cosec square x. Sine square x will become the denominator. It can also go up and form cosec square x, and that will be cosec raised 4x. Cos square x is in the denominator. So now this will be cosec square x into this cosec square x, that will form cosec to the power 4x. Cos square x is there, again the same thing we are witnessing. So you don't take this cosec square x upstairs. Why? Because this sine square x, we need cos square x, cosec square x along with cot square x. So there is slight say confusion here, and this I wanted to show because I would have done the right thing directly. But what is the problem we are facing here? We will not divide it by sine square, we have to divide it by the highest power. So we are now dividing it. I am now taking you to the right path. It will be sine raised 4x division for numerator and denominator together. So the denominator sine 4x can be written as sine square x, sine square x. So cosec 4x comes from the numerator 1 by sine raised 4x. Sine 4x and sine 2x will give you sine square x. Cos square x and sine square x will give you cot square x, and that's what we wanted. I told you cosec will go with cot, sec will go with tan. No other option we have. So cosec 4x remains in the numerator. Sine square x goes up, it forms cosec square x. So cosec square x into cosec raised 4x, the powers get added. It will be cosec to the power 6x. Cos square x by sine square x will be cot square x. So now we have arrived at the right solution, right way of solving it. The previous discussion we just had for this question was taking us into a path where we cannot find any integration to be applicable. So t equals to cot x, and when we differentiate, it will be dt equals to negative cosec square x dx, negative on the left hand side, so it will be negative dt equals to cosec square x. So we have to we actually added the power. We shouldn't do it. We can just keep them separate, that is cosec square x, we can have it separate because we need negative dt in place of that. So cosec square x whole square will be cosec 4x, and other cosec square x will remain there, so that conclusively additionally form the cosec x 6x. Since cosec square x dx is known to us, it will be negative dt. Cot square x is already in the denominator. We have already told you that t equals to cot x will give you this term. So cosec square x now in the numerator can be written as 1 plus cot square x, because this is the relation cosec square x and cot square have in common. Cosec square x dx is already there, cot square x in the denominator. Now wherever cot x is there, we found, just write this t equals to cot x. We can replace this t as cot x. So 1 plus t square whole square. Cosec square dx will be negative dt. So integration negative, we are taking it outside. Dt is there. Cot square x is what? It's t square. So 1 plus t square whole square by t square. There is a negative. We'll deal with that negative in a later part. So we'll just open this 1 plus t square whole square. So we'll just open it. A plus b whole square. So a square plus b square. T square whole square is t raised 4 plus 2ab, 2t square. And denominator we have t square. So let's just divide t square and find out what it gives us to. So t square will go up and will form t raised minus 2. T raised 4 by t square will give us t raised square. This t square gets cancelled. The third term, only t will remain. Negative is outside. Now let's integrate it separately, one term. So t raised minus 2 dt, t square dt and 2 dt, 2 you can take it outside, it's a constant. Now what will be the result? T raised minus 2 will be t raised minus 2 plus 1 by negative 2 plus 1. First integration. So t raised minus 2 plus 1 divided by negative 2 plus 1 will give you t raised negative 1 by negative 1. So negative 1 by t it will be. And you will get a log here, of course. So no. Integration is already done, sorry. Minus 1 by t will be the final result. Plus t cube by 3 for t square. And the integration of dt will be t only. So 2t plus constant of integration. So let me write the final answer, because we just need to replace this t by cot x that we assumed earlier. And since negative was already there, now I have multiplied everything with negative. So only 1 by t, which was negative 1 by t, will become positive. Other terms will take the negative sign. 1 by t is 1 by t cot x. So 1 by cot x. So that will form a tan x, of course. Minus t cube by 3. What is t cube? T was cot x. So cot cube x by 3. What is the third term? Minus 2t. T was cot x. So 2 cot x plus constant of integration. So this is not your final answer, because 1 by cot x has to be written as tan x. That will formulate the final result that we are targeting. So tan x minus cot cube x by 3 minus 2 cot x plus c is final answer. So this is the streamlined way in which you can go about and solve the question, because how we have started with sine square x, which I am showing it to you here only, but there is a slight error in this formulation or this approach. You have to divide it by sine raised 4x, then only you'll get the proper answer. See, getting till here is all the thing. Other things are just algebra. 1 by sine cube x and cos 5x. So now what to do? So these all questions will follow the same approach. Either you divide numerator denominator with the highest power of whichever sine or cos term you have, or you can have the addition of that power, because you need to get sec and tan in combination, or cosec x and cot x in combination, because sec goes with tan, cosec goes with cot. All other combination will not work here. So we have just done the previous question, and you know how to do this. Either divide numerator denominator, as I am just reiterating, divide numerator denominator by the highest power or the addition of these two, that is sine cube x, cos 5x. 3 and 5 will be what? 8. So that's how this logic will come, that we have to divide numerator denominator by anything which is cos x or sin x to the power 8. So what we are doing here, we are dividing the numerator denominator by cos to the power 8x. This 8 has come from 3 plus 5. So sine cube x and cos raised 5x. So we can just get rid of this cos raised 5x, because we can write this cos raised 8x as cos cube x and cos 5x. So sine cube x divided by cos cube x. Cos raised 5x is already there, so we can divide it by cos 5x. So cos 3 and cos 5 eventually will make the cos raised 8x. So cos raised 8x goes up and it will form what? Cos goes up and it will form a sec. So sec to the power 8x will get. So sec to the power 8x is the first thing. Then sin cube x by cos cube x will be tan cube x. And cos raised 5x by cos cube x will give you cancellation. This is sec 8x by tan cube x dx. So we'll take t and put it as, or assume it as to be tan x. So dt by dx is going to give you sec square x. dt will be equal to sec square x dx, which we already have. If you separate the sec square x from sec raised 8x, then you can write it as sec raised 6x into sec square x dx. Sec square x dx is already with us, which is dt, and denominator already we have taken it as t. So this is here sec square x dx from dt. T is 10x, so you can just have this tan cube x in the denominator. Sec raised 6x can be written as, because sec square x is 1 plus tan square x, so sec square to the power cube will give you sec raised 6. So sec square x to the power 3 will be 1 plus tan square x to the power 3. So 1 plus tan square x, so t we have taken as 10, so 1 plus t square to the power 3 it will be. So this integration 1 plus t square to the power whole cube dt for sec square x dx, and this tan cube x will give you t cube. Now how easy it is now. A plus b whole cube in the numerator, and denominator we have t cube. So a is 1, b is t square. You can open it with the formula a plus b whole cube. So it will be a cube plus b cube plus 3ab a plus b. This is the formula. So 1 plus t raised 6 plus 3t square plus 3 to the power 4 is your numerator. Denominator is t square. So divide everything by t square now. Oh, t cube, sorry. T cube, t cube, t cube. So now do the cancellation. So t raised minus 3 will come here. Dt integration. This goes up. 6 minus 3 is 3 only. So it will be t cube plus t cube dt. This will be 1 by t only, because 2 minus 3 will be negative 1. So let it be 3 integration of 1 by t, because you know 1 by x or 1 by t will give you log term. So one more thing will be cancelling here. We will get only t for t raised 4 by t cube. Now let's do the integration. It's simple. All the three terms, first, second and fourth, will give you x raised n integration, which is x raised n plus 1 by n plus 1. So t raised negative 3 plus 1 by negative 3 plus 1. T cube will give you t raised 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1. This 1 by t will be 3 log modulus of t, and this integration of t will be t square by 2 plus constant of integration. Replace t by 10x wherever it is possible. So let me write it here. T raised minus 2 by minus 2, that will form negative 1 by 2 divided by t square. So it will be negative 1 by 2t square. So rather than writing this way, just change now t to 10x wherever it is. So minus 1 by 2, and what is in the denominator? T square. So it will be 10x whole square x plus t raised 4 by 4. So 1 by 4, t raised 4 will be 10 to the power 4x plus 3 log modulus of 10x plus constant of integration. Before that we have to write t tan square x by 2 for 3t square by 2. So this is the whole answer. Okay, this is the final solution. This is the way you are going to write it. Okay, you have to tell the examiner dividing numerator denominator by cos raised 8x. This cos raised 8x has come from the power addition of 3 and 5. So this sine and cos, wherever it is, always try to change it into tan, sec or cosec cot formation. Now this is power sine cube x and cos raised 1x. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So you are going to divide the numerator denominator by, now you tell me you have to divide it by cos raised 4x or sine raised 4x. Okay, so you have to see that what option will give you an integrable result. Since we have this 1, I'm dividing it by sine to the power 4x. Sine cube x is already there. So this sine raised 4x will give you sine cube x into sine x. Sine cube x will be here, sine cube x. Cos x is here, and the denominator will be sine x only. So this goes up, sine raised 4x will go up. It will be cosec 4x. This cancellation, cos x by sine x is simply cot x. So I told you there is a combination of cosec x and cot x and sec x and tan x. We got it here because we are writing t equals to cot x in this case. Dt by dx will be minus cosec square x. Negative dt will be equal to cosec square x dx. We already have this cosec to the power 4x. We can separate them out into cosec square x into cosec square x. So this cosec square x whole square and cot x. So cosec square x in terms of cot square x, you already know it's 1 plus cot square x. And square of this, so a plus b whole square formula, you have to apply it here. So cosec square x, and since we have already written as this cosec square x dx, this is the wrong approach which I am doing right now, because cosec to the power 4x will be cosec square into cosec square x. Because we need a cosec square x in order to replace it by negative dt. So this is cosec to the power 4x has to be separated into cosec square x into cosec square x. So that's what I'm doing right now. This cosec square x can be converted into 1 plus cot square x. The other cosec square x, just let it be like that, cosec square x dx. And in the denominator, you have already a cot x, which will be replaced by t shortly, because all other cot x we have to replace it by t, because cosec square x dx will be negative dt. So 1 plus t square, cosec square dx, of course, negative dt, so negative will come out, it will be dt, and cot x will be in the denominator, which is t only. So what do you have? 1 plus t square divided by t. So it will be 1 by t plus t square by t, 1 by t. Negative will deal later, okay? So 1 by t dt, integration of t dt. 1 by t will be log modulus of t, plus this will be t square by 2 plus constant of integration. Everywhere it will be negative. Please remember, it will be negative because negative is already there. So minus log, we are replacing this by cot x now, plus t square by 2, cot square, because we have assumed it to be t. So cot square x by 2, this is also in negative, plus constant of integration. Now this is good, but since we have this sine and cos in the question, we will try that this cot x transforms into sine and cos. So this log cot x, because negative is already there, so negative goes to the power. We know, you know that log negative in front goes to the power whatever is inside. So this will be cot to the power negative 1. 1 by cot x it is actually tan x. So log tan x you can write it as. Cot square x can be written as cos square x by sin x square you can write. Or you can write it as in the cosec squared x terms. You know, don't shy from doing that, because the constant term will be combined with constant of integration. So this cot square x can be written as cosec square x minus 1, and 2 is in the denominator. So cosec square x minus 1 by 2 will be cosec square x by 2 minus 1 by 2. So this cosec square x by 2, since 1 by sin x is cosec x, so you can write it as 1 by 2 sin square x. This negative half will be combined with the constant of integration. Let us call it as c prime or c complement. So the final result I am writing, it's log tan x minus 1 by 2 sin square x plus constant of integration. This is your final result. So this is the way you are going to go about it. Don't forget to write all these symbols, the modulus sign, the dividing numerator and denominator, integration sign, and dx. The whole idea is to get cosec and cot x together and write the answer in terms of sine and cos wherever it is possible. Okay, we have 1 by sin x and cos cube x. We have just completed a question like this just now. So what do? You have to do it by yourself. But this time, try to have a combination of sec and tan. Just divide numerator denominator by now cos raised 4x. Because the power gets added, sine raised to 1 and cos raised 3. That's why we are dividing it by cos raised 4x. This is the solution you can refer. Try it. If you have any problem, just comment. I can give you a different perspective, or we can solve it together. So this is your final result. Have a good one. Thank you so much.